Have you ever thought about starting your own farm? It's a question more and more people are asking themselves as we rediscover the art of growing our own food. Not only does farming provide us with fresh, nutritious produce, but it also allows us to connect with the earth in a deeply rewarding way. This journey, though, is not without challenges. To help you navigate these, we're going to cover the basics of farming in this video. From understanding the soil beneath your feet to planting your first seeds and then maintaining your farm for bountiful harvest. We'll discuss different soil types and how you can improve their quality, share tips on selecting the right crops for your climate and soil, and delve into best practices for planting. We'll also cover essential maintenance tasks like watering, weeding, pest control, and how to keep your soil healthy through strategies like crop rotation. Ready to get your hands dirty? Let's dig in. Every great farm starts with understanding your soil. So, let's delve into the world beneath our feet. Picture this. You're standing on an intricate ecosystem, teeming with life and brimming with potential. This is your soil, the foundation of your farm. It's not just dirt, it's a living, breathing entity. There are 4 main types of soil: clay, silt, sand, and loam. Each type possesses unique characteristics that influence how it holds water and nutrients. Clay, for instance, is like a sponge, absorbing water but draining slowly. Sand, on the other hand, has larger particles and drains quickly, but doesn't hold nutrients well. Silt is somewhere in between, while loam, the dream soil, is a balanced blend of all 3. Determining your soil type isn't rocket science. You can do a simple jar test at home, shaking up a soil-water mixture and letting it settle into layers. Or feel the soil in your hands. Is it gritty? That's sand. Sticky? You've got clay. Smooth like flour? That's silt. But here's the good news. No matter what soil type you have, you can improve its quality. Think of it as a health and wellness journey for your soil. Composting is a fantastic way to start. It involves adding organic matter like leaves, vegetable scraps, or aged manure to your soil. This not only enriches the soil with nutrients, but also improves its structure and ability to hold water. Another crucial aspect is pH adjustment. Soil pH impacts nutrient availability. Most plants prefer a pH near neutral, so if your soil is too acidic or alkaline, adding lime or sulfur can help bring it back into balance. Remember, soil is alive. It's a complex ecosystem that needs care and attention. Your role as a farmer is to nurture this ecosystem, to create the conditions where your crops can thrive. So, knowing your soil is the first step towards a successful farm. Now that you understand your soil, it's time to plant your crops. The first step to planting is choosing the right crops. This decision is influenced by 2 key factors: your local climate and the type of soil you have. For instance, if you're in a warm tropical climate, crops like bananas, papayas, or sweet potatoes might thrive. Conversely, in cooler, temperate climates, you might opt for apples, cabbages, or potatoes. Now, let's not forget about the soil. Sandy soils, for instance, are great for root vegetables like carrots and radishes, while clay soils are perfect for leafy greens. Once you've decided on the crops you want to grow, it's time to get your hands dirty. Planting techniques may vary depending on the crop, but some general rules of thumb apply. Firstly, consider the spacing. Each plant needs a certain amount of space to grow to its full potential. Planting your crops too close together can result in competition for nutrients, water, and sunlight. A good rule of thumb is to give larger plants more space and smaller plants less. Secondly, let's talk about planting depth. Just like spacing, the optimal depth will depend on the type of plant you're growing. Some seeds need sunlight to germinate and should be planted just below the soil surface. Other seeds require darkness and should be planted deeper. As a general rule, the planting depth should be approximately 3 times the size of the seed, so you've got your seeds in the ground, spaced properly and at the right depth. What's next? Well, now it's time to wait. Patience is a virtue in farming. there's something truly rewarding about watching the fruits of your labor grow from tiny seeds into thriving plants. Remember, each plant is unique and will have its own set of needs and growth timeline. So be sure to do your research and give your plants the care they need to flourish. Planting wisely is crucial for a thriving farm. As we move to the next stage of our farming journey, we'll explore how to maintain your farm and ensure your crops stay healthy and productive. A successful farm requires care and maintenance. This scene is all about keeping your farm in top condition. It's not just about planting crops and hoping for the best. No, it's about nurturing those plants, protecting them from pests and weeds, and ensuring the soil is healthy enough to support growth. Let's start with watering. Water is life for your crops, but there's a delicate balance to strike. Too little water, and your plants may wilt and die. Too much, and they could drown or become susceptible to diseases. The key is to water deeply, but infrequently. This encourages the plant roots to grow deep into the ground, making them more resilient. The best time to water is early in the morning or late in the evening when the sun is less intense to prevent evaporation. But it's not just about how and when you water, but also about what you water with. Rainwater is a gift from nature, and collecting it in barrels can provide a free and sustainable water source for your crops. Next up, weeding and pest control. Weeds are the uninvited guests at your garden party. They compete with your crops for nutrients, water, and light. Regular weeding helps keep them in check, but be gentle. You don't want to disturb the roots of your crops. As for pests, they can wreak havoc on your plants. But before you reach for chemical pesticides, consider natural methods. Introducing beneficial insects like ladybugs or praying mantises can help control pest populations. Planting crops that naturally repel pests like marigolds or garlic can also be a smart move. Now let's talk about crop rotation. This old farming practice has stood the test of time for a reason. Different crops have different nutrient needs and pest profiles. By rotating your crops, you can help keep the soil's nutrient balance in check and break pest and disease cycles. For example, if you plant tomatoes one year, which are heavy feeders, you might follow up with beans the next year, which are light feeders and can help replenish the soil's nutrients. You can also incorporate cover crops like clover or rye in your rotation to protect and enrich the soil during the off-season. Finally, remember to regularly test your soil. This will give you valuable information about its nutrient levels and pH balance, helping you make informed decisions about fertilization and liming. Maintaining a farm is not a one-time job. It's a continuous cycle of care, attention, and adaptation. It's about observing, learning, and responding to the needs of your crops and your land. And remember, every farm and every farmer is unique. What works for one might not work for another. So, experiment, observe, and find what works best for your farm. With proper maintenance, your farm can flourish. Keep these tips in mind, and you'll be well on your way to a thriving farm. So, are you ready to start your farming journey? By now, you should have a solid grasp of the basics. Let's take a moment to recap what we've covered today. We started off by understanding the importance of soil. Remember, soil is the foundation of your farm. It's essential to identify and understand your soil type, whether it's sandy, clay, loamy, or something else. Once you have this knowledge, you can take steps to improve your soil's quality, such as composting or pH adjustment. Next, we moved on to planting your crops. The selection of the right crops is a crucial step. You have to consider your local climate and the type of soil you have. We also talked about best practices for planting, like the right spacing and depth. These factors can significantly impact your crop's growth and yield. Maintaining your farm is an ongoing process. We covered the best practices for watering your plants, which can vary depending on the type of crop and the local weather conditions. We also touched on natural methods for weeding and pest control. Remember, prevention is better than cure. Another key aspect of maintaining your farm is crop rotation. This strategy helps maintain soil health and reduces the risk of pests and diseases. It's a time-tested method that farmers have been using for centuries. Now, it's your turn to apply these tips and start your own farming journey. Remember, farming is not just a profession, it's a lifestyle. It requires patience, hard work, and a deep love for the land and nature. But the rewards, both tangible and intangible, are well worth it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe or follow for more farming guides and tips. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned farmer looking to brush up your skills, we're here to help you grow and thrive. Until next time, happy farming.